Well, welcome viewers. Here we are once again, Monday afternoon.
New Year's Eve, Tom.
The last day before the new year. And I say hello to you viewers.
And I wish the viewers a nice happy new year before, in case I forget, and enjoy hope everything goes quite smoothly for the rest of the year. And you have a nice party wherever you're doing tonight, or having a drink or whatever.
No,
enjoy it.
Easy. Don't drink and drive.
Enjoy it. There are too many coppers around here.
No, and you don't want to crash into anyone.
No, I don't want to touch that.
And don't drive with your feet outside the car.
Nah, I get sunburnt.
Get sunburnt.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I found that out. Long time ago.
Some good advice there. That's what you used to drive your manual.
My
and
old
you used
manual.
to have your feet outside the car.
Vauxhall Velux. Blue Vauxhall Velux was my first car, Con. 1951 Vauxhall Velux.
Well,
riveting.
Peatling's absence will swing game in Ararat's favour. What was wrong with you at this particular...
Well, as a matter of fact, I got that out today, and I just found a photo a long time ago. That was 1960, and that's why that's what was the injury where the foot's in plaster. What caused me to miss the last home and away game. I beg your pardon, it happened on the last 5 minutes of the home and away game in 1960 Premier League football season, and I missed the finals, and that was the headline. On the Friday before the game, Peatling's absence will swing game in Ararat's favour.
What game was this?
First semi-final against Ararat.
Oh, did you win that?
They won by 3 points. I went
Wow.
there, they let me out the hospital to go and watch. I was in agony. It was freezing cold. My bloody foot was aching, and they won by 3 points. It was raining, and
so you got into the semi-final. What happened after that?
Go on, finish, because I wasn't there. They scraped home that in the first semi against Ararat. It was a raining day that day, and it was a freezing cold day, but that was Murray Lawson's headlines. He said, right, Mr. Peatling, it's your problem. Absent will swing game, and it probably did.
That was September the 2nd. Okay, so that was an interesting little headline.
That was my first season of Repanium, Colin. I must remind the viewers about that. The first season, 18, just turned 19.
Young bloke.
Young fella, and to get that headlines, I mean, I was in hospital when it came out, and they said weeks later, the only reason we didn't bring that paper to show you about it was it might have upset me. I said, what's wrong with it?
Headline?
How can that upset you? I mean, it's probably got a spare on.
Oh, it's pretty upsetting.
No, sir. I was in there agony. I was in pain for 3 weeks, and that would have sparked me up. But anyway, that's what happens. And I'm probably thinking their best interest not to show it to me, but it turned out it wasn't the right thing to do. But that was a headline for a 19-year-old, and I was quite happy about that.
All right.
Not about missing the game, but seeing the headline.
Seeing the headline like that. All right. Well, we just had the Boxing Day test, Barry.
2.5 days, shortest test game in history, I'd say.
I would beg to differ.
Could not possibly go any lower than 2.5 days, Colin.
I have seen lower.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Well, next week I'll look it up and I'll prove you wrong.
Well, you're very good at statistics, we all know about that. But I wouldn't think.
It was pretty short, Harper.
Matter of fact, I'd probably have big money on that.
I reckon there's been tests shorter than 2 days.
No, look, might have been Bangladesh.
Yeah, well, there's been small scores like New Zealand's played some small scores like 30 and that sort of thing, and
Australia played Pakistan about probably 7 or 8 years. They scored 53 and 90 something, but Australia went and that was over at least 3 days.
So a little bit of homework for me to do.
Yeah, just check it out.
Well, how good is Sri Lanka?
Pathetic.
Bad.
I mean, as for a side, I know they had some injuries. I mean,
had 3 injuries.
If Australia was in that situation the last 40 years, and the fellow had a broken arm, he'd go and he wouldn't say, oh, they batted 3 short.
So he had a broken arm.
He'd walk
but it was all over by then.
Don't worry, you just don't throw the towel. That was just disgusting. I mean, that's not a very good.
Well, one was at the hospital. And,
well, you could have wheeled him out there on the trolley.
And it was a lost cause anyway.
And one had a broken finger. People with broken fingers all the time. You know Joe Wardo, he had a broken finger, didn't he?
Sangakkara.
Sangakkara, he's the best.
Their best batsmen didn't really fire. Their bowlers were a little bit lackluster. They've just got a bunch of medium paces, and their spinner, it doesn't suit him.
No. That's probably the last time Sri Lanka will probably play in the MCG.
Well, for a while.
They will not get another. I mean, they get 90,000 2.5 days, isn't it?
Yeah, which is about, if it was England,
get that one day.
One day, yeah.
So Sri Lanka, you might have to be smart enough. You want to get back into the big time and get some fellas who've got a bit of gumption, a bit of go on, put up with a bit of pain.
All right, well, let's get on to the Australian team. Who's going to replace Watson?
Well, I suppose Royce, I was going to say Stark, but apparently Stark is in the paper today. He said something about he's starting to agree with him. They must be getting news here to get with the wrestling business.
Well, he's wanting to toe the line, isn't he? Now, you know who I've heard they're going to replace?
Maxwell's supposed to be coming in for sure.
Glenn Maxwell,
yeah,
from
he's coming
Victoria.
In. He can play. He's a very good all-rounder.
He spins it. He's a bit of a spinner.
He can hit a ball.
And he can hit the ball. And I think it's because Sydney, it's a little bit more of a spinner's track, isn't it?
He'll get a bit. He can get a bit of turn for his little tweakers.
And I also hear, because Australia going to India after here in Australia, and then to England. So going down to India for a few tests. So
after Christmas.
After
New
Christmas.
Year.
After New Year. Say like in March, I think.
Oh, they go
March,
to
April.
in May, don't they?
March, April.
They probably go to India and then just go straight to England, will they?
That's right. And they want someone who can, they want an extra spin option.
All-rounder spinner. Nathan Lyon's just been, I thought he had a bit of turn in, but he's just pretty flat and straight.
Yeah, but the best spinner in the world, Herath, couldn't spin it a little bit. Couldn't spin it all.
Lyon, he just, no, I don't think he's up to it. I give him a bit of a few weeks ago. He's not
I heard a statistic recently.
Can't bat either.
I heard a statistic recently that at the same stage of his career, Richie Benaud,
that put that in.
Richie Benaud had 10 less wickets.
Oh, Richie Benaud, him and Shane Warne, he's just behind Shane Warne in the leg spinner.
Yeah, so he had 10 less wickets than Nathan Lyon.
That's a very bad stat you got there, Con.
I like it.
It's
a good stat.
A good stat. A bad stat. Who used to say that? Bad. Someone. No, like Nathan Lyon, they got to get.
So I think he's underrated.
And I think no, but David Warner. I said to you a few weeks ago, and I was seeing someone in the paper today. It might have been Ian Chappell. One of them top notches said, no, Alan Border was, he said, now, David Warner should stick at the leg spinner because he can, I mean, not too many leg spinners around the world.
Yeah.
And he can, you got to cut 2 or 3 wickets, he only had 10 overs, and I think that they can sort of have him in the background because he's an opening batsman, and he will, well, we need some variety.
Maybe.
Maxwell probably will be finished up with spinner, the number one spinner.
Maybe.
And all-rounder.
All right. Well, something a bit sad happened the other day. Tony Gregg passed away. One of the salesmen of cricket in the last 30, 40 years.
Series cricket.
World Series cricket. He got on board pretty early as a player, and he was an antagonist, and he got
very arrogant.
Got people fired up.
I beg your pardon. On the football field, he's very
cricket field.
On the cricket field, but he's been a bit of a legend. I mean, I can't work out how he's outlasted. Rich Benaud's still going. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a marvel. No, but Tony Gregg, he was...
I saw his record in the paper.
Wasn't a bad cricketer either.
It was pretty good. He had a 40 average in batting, and he had about a 35 in bowling, which is pretty good.
Oh, he was... Look, I used to hate him because he always antagonised Australian test side cricketers. And he used to get under their skin quite easy. He was because he's about 9 foot tall.
Yeah.
But he was he's captain of England.
Captain of England.
Can't be too bad with captain.
South African.
I think both of them reckon he was the best captain he played under.
Okay.
And
he's always been the antagonist in the and it makes for a good argument in the commentary box.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He always had it in for a lot of people, particularly the Pakistanis and anyone who dropped the ball a little bit, he was onto them.
Yeah, he was. No, he had plenty of variety in his commentary. I mean, you must give him credit. He was. He used to antagonise a lot of people around the world when on his day, but in the long run, he's been very good for cricket. And
had the weather wall, which was always he brought the weather wall in, which was interesting, and he always put his key.
He was the instigator of the key going in the cricket, the system of cricket.
I heard a few years ago that his car had a few car problems. His vehicle, his car problems. Yeah, they wouldn't start. They found out what it was.
Right.
He had dirt in his ignition.
From the key. Yeah, very I played it.
You like that one?
Very, I liked it.
But he had the weather wall. I always liked the comfort.
That was quick off that cuff there.
The comfort factor of the playing conditions.
No, but he was just always got something to say about everything, and sometimes I didn't agree with it, but who cares? But he was, it's a sad loss.
You had something to say about everyone's, he didn't seem to like him, people in the commentary box.
He wasn't backward and coming forward.
But what are they saying about him now?
Well, they're all coming out and they're saying, well, good for cricket, that's the main thing, it was good for cricket and good for this league. Him and Kerry Packer, they were actually got that I used to watch that, and it was, I thought I'd never go back to Test cricket after that, but I did, but that was very good for cricket, and in the long run, Mr. Sir Donald Bradman come around and started paying the Australian Test cricketers money, and Kerry Packer was responsible for that. Because
Instrumental.
Because the Test cricket players back in the 80s and 70s and 60s, they used to get $2 a game.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the shock retirement of Mike Hussey.
Well, it's not really a shock because he's 37, isn't he?
Well, were you thinking about him retiring?
No.
You're thinking about him maybe going...
He's 37.
Some people are saying he could go into his 40s.
Well, who knows? Because he's still making runs and he's very good in the field and he can bowl and he's a very good team man. It was a bit of a shock because he was... I don't know, just only 52. It was only about 4 got averages over 50.
Maybe he saw the whole Ponting fiasco and how Ponting went out on a low point. And he thought, I'm going to go out on a high. I'm going to go out on top.
Well, he made nearly 7,000 runs, didn't he?
Yeah, he's going out on top. He's played for 7 years.
He only played started when he's 30-year-old.
Yeah. I remember when they brought him in because they lost the Ashes and there was changes all around. And he was one of them. He came in. He was on the verge of being in that Ashes tour of where it was 1999 or 2000, and I think it was 2000, mid 2000. And they didn't choose him. No, not mid 2000, 2005. And they didn't choose him because they had all these other stars that were playing, and they didn't want to let them go. But he's been good.
But anybody who gets a nickname of Mr. Cricket, you've got to be pretty good. I remember they came in about 5 years ago. I mean, to be called Mr. Cricket, that's a big statement.
Yeah.
Because he can bowl and he can bat and he can field and he was making hundreds and 200s.
He loves it. He's obsessed.
Great. I mean, well, he's got to finish at the end of the year, but he'll be playing the big Thrash game next year, already. And he'll kill it in that too.
Probably. Now, just on to something else. You saw something strange yesterday.
Very weird, Colin. I was walking down the street coming back from getting my paper. I heard this screeching up above me and I looked up and there's this bloody starling. Are they starlings? The brown... Yeah, chasing this cat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And I looked at him and he come down, he swooped on him and he let him go and he took off again and he went down. They're all screeching. I don't know what the cat must have wanted to pinch his eggs.
Maybe.
I've never seen a bird...
It might have been after its babies.
I've never seen a bird chasing a cat in my life. Have you?
No.
No. So it's got to be a first there, viewers. I've got no proof of it.
Well, sometimes they do try to scare them away.
Well, sometimes the birds jump on some humans' heads, but not on cats.
There you go, a real-life Tom and Jerry story.
And that's true. I'm not making it up, but if I did have my cameras, I should have videos, shouldn't I?
Should get it on video next time. Alright, well that's a fair bit there we've covered, so that's goodbye from me.
That's goodbye from me and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.